David here with Figboot on Pens, back again with another video. I recently attended the DC Pen Show and thought that I would do a bit of a recap video to share some of my favorite experiences at the show, as well as give you a bit of a sneak peek at some of the items you will see reviewed in the upcoming weeks and months. The DC show is one of my favorite events of the year. This was the second year that I gave a seminar. We had a packed room of folks. I gave a little presentation and then had a bunch of Q&A, and it was a lot of fun. I wouldn't be opposed to doing it again next year. I arrived on Thursday afternoon, and this was the first year I recall a lot of activity on Thursday afternoon. When I arrived, I was hungry and I needed to get some lunch. After dropping my stuff off at my room, I made the mistake of ducking my head into one of the showrooms, and I got to talking to folks. And before I knew it, I was not going out for lunch. I was time for dinner. But it was nice to catch up with some old friends. I will say I discovered a nearby restaurant that was new to me that quickly became a favorite. It was a place called La Tingeria that's only about 10 minutes from the hotel, but has some amazing tacos and tostadas and quesadillas. It's a real hole-in-the-wall place. When you walk up to the door, you kind of question, like, is this even a restaurant? You don't want to go into the door on the left. That's a tattoo shop. You want the one on the right. Over the years, especially when it comes to quality Mexican food, I have come to learn that the hole-in-the-wall places like this are the ones that really serve the best food. In the 4 days I was there in DC, I went back there 3 times. It was great. Okay, enough about Figboot on Mexican food. Let's get back to the show. While Friday was busy, Saturday morning was very crowded. And as you can see here, there was literally a line of folks out to the parking lot waiting to get into the show. While it's nice to see large companies and familiar faces at the show, I also love learning about new companies and making new discoveries, and there were lots of discoveries to be made this year. Here's something right off the bat from a company called Zeki Karaka Jewelry. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. They're based out of Turkey and make some incredible pieces of art. This pen is literally encrusted in diamonds and other precious gems. The sterling silver work on this pen was very nice as well. Now, as you can imagine, this pen has a rather hefty price tag. I believe it was upwards of $30,000. But taking into consideration the craftsmanship as well as the sheer number of diamonds and other gems, the price didn't necessarily feel unreasonable. You could actually kind of see the value, but it was a stunning piece of art. Okay, moving on to some other highlights. The folks from NFP were here for the second year. They are from Turkey as well and make some very nice storage units. I just might have one here that you'll see here in a moment. Here are some of the offerings from Skogsy Pens. Alex Fritz with Motor City Pens was here again as well. Alex started his company when he was in high school, and now he is headed off to college. He still has plans to make pens while he's at school, but production might be tapered back a bit. I do know that he was having a going off to college sale on his Instagram feed, so it might be worth checking that out. There was another young entrepreneur at the show who was selling 3D printed animals that were quite popular. This was a large dragon, which was one of the last things left that she had at the table. She had a 3D printer there on the table so you could see how the items were being created. Here it is, making a couple of turtles. And then a couple of hours later, I came back and you could see the progress which was made. Speaking of 3D printed items, at the Penquisition table, they had a number of pen stands. I thought that this unicorn was kind of cute. Now, here is Vivek Kulinari. His company is called Arushi of India. He is a very talented Arushi artist. The amazing thing is the variety of styles in which he is proficient at. I actually have 2 of his pens, which I'll be reviewing. One made from Ebonite and another of his Arushi creations. The Ebonite one actually has a nib that he crafted on his own. Here's Pierre Miller from Desi Dada, who is always up for an interesting conversation. If you are ever at a show with Pierre, it's well worth spending some time at his table. Each night, folks would hang out at the bar and restaurant area in the lobby. Affectionately, it's called Pen Show After Dark. You know that pen folks can really get crazy sometimes. For some reason, someone brought a box full of wigs and glasses that everyone was trying on. I'm not quite sure why, but then again, sometimes you really don't need a reason to act a little silly around friends. In what has become a bit of a tradition, a group of makers and nibmeisters and myself went out to a fantastic Korean barbecue restaurant. The food was great, and hanging out with good friends is always fun. While dinner was great, all we could think about all dinner long and all we could keep talking about is how much we were looking forward to going to the Korean bakery next door. They have some delicious pastries, and I ended up taking a large amount home for the family and myself. And I ended up with a couple of cheesecakes, one blueberry and one key lime. They were very good. As I said up front, DC is one of my favorite shows of the year. It's the largest show in the US and one that a large number of vendors attend. There's a large number of vendors from Europe and Asia which make the trip over. I will admit, though, that it's tough sometimes to remember to document everything for these recaps. On Saturday afternoon, we had a fun event sponsored by Van Ness. There was a large area on the ground floor called the Van Ness Lounge, which had a number of large tables. This picture was actually before the event began. By the time it started, every table was packed. Myself and a number of other creators would spend around 10 minutes at each table talking to folks and answering questions, and then we would kind of move around to the next table. Going into it, no one was quite sure how it was going to turn out, but it ended up being a lot of fun. Okay, now it is time for some show and tell, where I show some of the items I picked up at the show, which you will be seeing in some upcoming reviews. And in order to do that, please join me over here at camera 2. Okay, this show and tell portion is going to be heavy on the show and light on the tell. So there's some of these pens I don't even know the names of yet, because I haven't even really begun my research into what they are. So first of all, I wanted to go ahead and share some of the larger items that I have. And the first was a pen case from NFP. This is a real nice wood. And it's just kind of a nice thick case. And then it even has a nice key on the front with a lock. And inside is just some really nice felt. So it's just high quality felt on the inside. Really nice padding on the inside. I've really found with all of NFP's items, just really high quality and just really feels solid. And so I look forward to taking a closer look at this. Then next up, I had some items from Galen Leather. First up was this pen case. And what's really interesting about this pen case is that it is magnetic and that these come out or they stick in there. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then you can stick 10 in here. And like I said, that these are magnetic and come out, and then you can put them back. And then there is the cover in here, which you can actually remove if you want to remove it and don't want it in there. So there's just some nice versatility to this this case. So next up, we have a couple of pen cases that are unique and just had a unique design that I hadn't seen before. This one is a 3-pen case. This is some nice silk inside. There is a little area here. This is meant for air tags, so you can put air tags in the case and meant for a little notepad in there. But what is nice is that this area really expands over here so that whether or not you have a shorter pen, you could have that, or you could have a longer pen and it extends out like that. So it holds a variety of sizes, which is nice. This one held those 3 pens, and this one is 1 for 5. And again, it has the area for the air tag and the silk, and then it has the ability to expand out so that you can, if I can actually get it in here, there we go, have it maybe even smaller or larger. Then I have 2 more unique items for Galen Leather. This is, I'm not quite sure if they call this a purse or a pouch or what this is, but it's very interesting because you can open it up and then inside there is a number of slots. And some of these you can go ahead and remove. and that then also you have a secondary slot up here where you can put things up front as well. So it's an interesting case that could be used either for stationery or even for like a pocketbook as well. And then finally, this is way too large to show here, but I have a real nice leather purse, or again, I don't know if they call it a purse or a handbag, or just simply a bag, but it's very nice and luxurious and just really real quality leather. And then inside, there's some nice storage as well. So look forward to, in the near future, we'll give reviews of all of these items and a closer look at each of them. Okay, in regard to some inks, Papier Plume had a DC show ink, which is called Second Line. And it is a nice, we'll call it dusty purple. This is what it looks like. And that I look forward to playing more with this one. But this was one that was an exclusive at the DC show. But then they're also selling it on their website. So look for it on their website while it's available, because this is one of those limited edition inks. And once it's gone, that it is gone. But then also they have another brand new set of inks, which is called the Snowball Party 2, or the Snowball 2 Party. They had a previous Snowball set, and this is the second one. And you can see here that it is a set of 5 different inks. And then even they have a little spoon in here and a little napkin. But you're not supposed to eat these inks. But they're basically inspired by snow cones, or snowballs as they are called in the New Orleans area. In regard to the colors, we have a green apple. And then there is king cake. If you're not familiar with king cake, it's a cake where they actually bake a little plastic baby, very small, into the cake, and then whoever actually gets the baby is that's a very it means good luck. Then we have nectarine, which is a nice saturated orange. I'm a big fan of saturated orange. Then here is cafe a lot. And then finally, there is a blue raspberry. So again, I look forward to taking a closer look at those. You also, you can purchase a wax seal with them. And this one is a trumpet. And as you can see, this is what the trumpet looks like when it is put into use. Okay, a couple additional items. They were not at the show, but these were 2 items from Colorverse, which I look forward to testing out, which should be some interesting reviews. And they are a couple of cleaning tools. This is pen soap, basically pen soap for your pens. And then this is some hand ink remover, hence the name HIR. And so I look forward to taking a look at these and testing these out and see how well they clean pens, as well as, I think more importantly, how to clean your hands. Because I know I don't have any ink on my hands right now, but sometimes they can get a little bit inky, and it's nice to have something that removes them quickly and easily. Okay, one more item that I didn't pick up at the show, but I had purchased and was waiting for me when I got home, is the Sailor Tuzu. And this is one that actually has an adjustable nib that kind of rotates slightly. So I need to play with this more so I can truly understand the exact features of it. And I look forward to playing with this and reviewing this in the near future. Okay, in regard to pens that you'll be seeing in the very near future, first up, we have a brand new offering from Esterbrook, and this is called Back to the Land. And there is a series of, it's either 3 or 4 different colors, and they all kind of have that like 1970s road trip vibe to them. That's what they were going for. And so this one is a nice kind of light olive green with an orange. And I also kind of like that the orange goes deeper inside than just the ring, which I like. And that I look forward to taking a closer look at that one. We're going to set these up here. Now let's go ahead and move them down. Next up, we have a pen from Opus 88. Opus 88 was at the show. I think that was the first time that they were there, but this was a model that I hadn't previously seen. I think it's relatively new, and that I just liked the marbling on this resin. And I've always been impressed by Opus 88 pens because they perform very nicely, and they're generally have a fairly reasonable price. But I thought that the resin on this one looks interesting. So again, I'm looking forward to delving into this pen a little bit more. Okay, I mentioned talking about new discoveries, and one of the new discoveries for me at the show was Maverick pens. Now, this particular model here is called the Marauder, and this is their stratified blank. And just quickly, again, I'll go into more detail during the review. You can see here in this picture that this is the actual resin when it is poured. That each of those individual layers are poured and then dried and then poured and dried and poured and dried. And so it takes a very long time to create this resin, but it is essentially one solid piece of resin as opposed to individual pieces from different resin pours that are then glued together. So it truly is one solid piece. And so this was just one of those pens that I saw and was instantly attracted to. Sometimes it shows, people kind of ask me, hey, what are you in the market for, or what are you looking for? I always generally say I want what I don't know even exists yet, and that I'll know I want it when I see it. So I want to make that discovery and take a look at it and say, you know what, that's cool. That's something that I need to get my hands on. And that's what I felt about this pen was, you know what, this tells an interesting story and looks interesting and is something unique. So I look forward to delving into that a little bit more. And this one was the, as I said, the Maverick Marauder and with the stratified blank. Next up, we have a pen from Desi Dada, and this is some nice wood. And then I believe this even has a specialty nib on here. It's like a cursive italic, I think. Again, I just remembered it was an italic nib that wasn't overly sharp and was fairly smooth. And that Pierre with Desi Dada, oh, this is the Vulcan, excuse me. Yes, this is the Vulcan. That's the model, and it's written right there. And again, another one that I'm looking forward to delving into more. And it's interesting to see how Pierre has changed his design and developed new techniques over the years. From a number of years ago when I first saw some of his first pens, which looked drastically different, and that there's been a lot of improvements that are nice to see. Next up, we have a pen from one of my favorite brands, which is Kilk. This was an exclusive Kilk model that is sold by Galen Leather. And I just love this gold and brown. And then it, normally they have silver, but this is more of the bronze. And so I'm just interested in checking this out because I've really been interested in enjoyed every single one of the Kilk pens that I've reviewed. They're just high quality pens. They all have a unique look to them and just feel really solid in the hand and very high quality writing instruments. Okay, I mentioned that I had two pens from Arushi of India. This is one of his Arushi models. And it just has some really nice depth and coloring to it, towards the deep reds and then some of the yellows and oranges and some lighter reds, and just a very interesting look to the depth of this material. It does have a stainless steel nib, but the Arushi of India, that Vivek had done some really interesting work, and I'm looking forward to playing with this one more. But then also, he had this model here, which is made from Ebonite. And besides having some interesting ebonite, what was really interesting with this pen is it had a large number 8 nib, and Vivek made this nib himself, that he started getting into nib crafting and creating this nib from scratch, and I look forward to testing it out. I really enjoy the larger nibs. There is the ebonite feed that goes in there. I believe he makes the ebonite feeds as well. And that, again, it's something that I really look forward to checking out. I really like this chunky section. I'm a big fan of chunky sections, and this one certainly has a chunky section. Okay, 3 more pens to go. Next up, we have something from Magna Carta. I don't recall the name of this specific model. It's one of their newer models, but what was really specific or nice about this pen is that it has a Fude nib, as you can see here. The Fude nib with it bending up like that, and then it has a nice Ebonite feed. And so while I'm not super into specialty nibs, I'm starting to like them more and more. So I'm looking forward to playing around with this one and seeing if I can put it in the category of ones that I really enjoy. Again, I don't recall the name of this pen. It's a bit on the thinner side, but looking forward to playing with that specialty nib. Next up, we have a pen from Mythic Pen Company, and this is just a real unique design from a small creator. This is the VS3, and that it really has kind of a Parker Centennial Big Red look to it, which is one of my favorite pens that I enjoy. And there's just a lot about this pen that even though it's made by a small maker, it doesn't scream small maker. I mean, this band is really high quality. The clip is completely handmade, and that it looks really solid, and it doesn't have a handcrafted look to it. This resin is some actually Jonathan Brooks resin that is very, very old resin, but it is a Jonathan Brooks resin that's been around for a long time, which is something you don't see a lot from him, which is a very solid color. And then again, it just has a standard Yovo nib, but it has a rather thick section, and that overall it has that Parker Duofold Centennial vibe to it, but it's a real unique offering from a small creator. So I look forward to spending more time with this one and going in depth in exactly what this one provides. And then finally, I have a pen from Leonardo. And again, I'm sorry, I don't know the name of it right yet, but it has this nice brushed technique on it. I believe this is a Momento Zero 2.0, where it has the piston filling system here. You can see the piston come down right there. And the Leonardo name. I don't know if I've seen the Leonardo name on the section like that, but especially since there is a texture on this pen, I can understand why you wouldn't want any engraving on this. So it's a logical place to put it. And plus it is very light. I'll have to see if that's engraved or is that just paint, because you really don't even feel it. So even if it's engraved, it's very, very light, because that would kind of annoy me a little bit if I could feel that and you really don't feel it at all. But Leonardo nibs are fantastic. I very much enjoy them, and that this is an interesting texture on this model. And I look forward, just like all of the other pens I said, to checking this out a little bit more in depth coming here very soon. So those are some of the items that I picked up at the DC show and that I really look forward to showing you in the next couple of weeks. I just thought it'd be interesting to give you a sneak peek so you could see what I picked up, as well as what was going to be coming up on the channel in the very near future. So until next time, thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.